And welcome into the Seth Justice Show. What's going on? Make sure you like, subscribe, follow on all the fun that could be had if you followed or liked or subscribed to anything that I do. At Justice_Radio on Instagram, at Seth Justice Show on X, and the Seth Justice Show on YouTube and Spotify. Back for another week, and yeah. I don't know, just thriving and surviving. Got to move here in a little bit, in a few weeks, just moving across town. And so that's fun, but I started packing because I know that if I wait, then I won't get it done. And then, well, I'll be up a creek without a paddle. So, yeah, I'm actually being an adult, which is an absolute shock to me because I would not have guessed I would actually be an adult at any time. It's kind of BS, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. I don't like it. Anyway, so that's this Labor Day weekend has been very labor intensive, which, by the way, happy Labor Day weekend. Hopefully it's a great time for you to sit back, relax, drink way too much, do whatever you do on a Labor Day weekend. Yeah, hoping it's a good one. Anyway, let's see. I don't even know what else happened this week. Like, it's such a blur. I mean, there is one huge headline that we're going to get to coming up in a little bit, but I'm just thinking, like, for myself. I mean, I got my phone, my new phone, so that's exciting. Again, scary and everything, but we talked about that last week. Packing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a boring week, which isn't bad. Sometimes boring weeks are really good, especially when you have a lot going on and everything like that, and you're just like, rah! But, yeah, it was kind of a boring week, which isn't, like, usual for me. Usually I'm out doing crazy and silly things and everything like that, but it was a very, like, tame week. So, I don't know. It is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, I think we need those weeks, to be honest. But anyway, we're going to get into some headlines right now, because I can't really think of anything else to say about my week other than it was boring, and all I did was work, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, let's get into some things going on here in the world today. I just want to say with this first one, I told you so. I just want to say that, because I kind of did. I kind of did tell you so. And I'm just going to sit here and go, ha, 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 ha. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'm talking about here today is the fomance of Pam Anderson and Liam Neeson. There was something not right about this whole thing, and I was just like, no, this doesn't seem real. This doesn't seem right. This seems, it wasn't on my bingo card, and it turns out it wasn't on their bingo card either, because apparently through sources from TMZ, they found out that it was all a publicity stunt to help their movie, The Naked Gun, do a little bit better, which is kind of shady and underhanded, but I totally understand the sentiment of trying to, make your movie be the biggest that it can be. Kind of paints an interesting light of both of them. Maybe they knew the movie was crap, and they're just like, well, let's do something to spice some things up. Let's get some content out there and show ourselves off, which some people may think that is a very not so great thing to do, which, well, I can understand that. But then again, you're trying to sell a movie and da-da-da-da-da-da. But it's not good for the character. Now, Liam Neeson, he already said he's pretty much done with acting, so I don't think this really does anything for him. Plus, Taken, iconic. Pam Anderson, well, I don't even know. I mean, people are still going to just think of her as Baywatch. So does this really tarnish their legacy? No. And even if it did, who cares? It's just I told you so. That's all I want to say by this. This whole thing here is a big old I told you so. And I usually don't like to be that braggadocious, but, sometimes I don't need to be that modest. So, boom. There we go. I told you so. It was a fake romance. Pam Anderson, Liam Neeson. It just didn't feel right to me. It felt like strangeness. Like, when you look at those two, you don't think, oh, they would be a cute couple. And that's kind of like what my, like, with relationships, what I want to see is in a picture are we a good-looking couple? Like, are we that Instagram couple that's going to post a whole bunch of stuff and, do all that? And if we're not, or if we don't look good together, then I'm just like, ooh, strike one. And yeah, kind of go from there. But wow, I just sounded really shallow there. Kind of am shallow. Yeah, I gotta admit that about myself. So, anyway, it is what it is. But again, I just didn't see Pam Anderson and Liam Neeson working out, and it turns out that they weren't even in a relationship. They were just whatever, hoeing themselves out for the movie. Yep, I said it. Yeah, don't care. Wanted to keep this PG, but we're not keeping it PG no more. They were honing themselves out for the man. For the man! And it probably worked. I'll give it to him. Yeah, it kind of worked. Anyway, moving on. Even more. This one is going to be love heavy, by the way. Just so you know. And the biggest news, I'm sure you can already tell what that's going to be of the week. But the next one I wanted to talk about is French Montana. He's getting engaged. Lots of love to be had. And, well, he got engaged to a Dubai princess. Now, 1 + 1 on that one equals holy crap ton of money, which you'd be probably right about. Crap ton of money. Like, gotta be. I think. I hope. She has expensive taste, let me tell you that, because the engagement ring French got for her, $1 million. $1 million ring. Now, I respect the hustle and being able to, afford a ring like that. However, French, man, got to cut us a little slack, all right? Yeah, because, at least for me, not a rich man. Can't afford that kind of deal. I mean, what is the old, thing that you're supposed to spend, 10 to 20% of your net worth on a ring? Is that it? I think that's it. And in which case, if he's spending $1 million, and if that's 10% per se, we got to give it up to French Montana. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he's been releasing music very much at all. So, I mean, if he has that kind of cheddar, man, you got to give it up to the dude. You gotta. I mean, but still, $1 million ring, and I know, some people will say, oh, I don't want $1 million ring. I don't want this. I don't want that. And that's perfectly fine. You may not want that. Yeah, outwardly. But, I mean, I don't know anybody that would turn down $1 million ring unless they wanted to sell it and then, get a cheaper ring later, but here nor there, no judgment. But still, it's just $1 million ring. You would kind of want that, I would assume. And it's not oh my goodness, you need to give me $1 million ring. No, it's not like that. But if somebody was just hey, this is $1 million, and you're just what? And then they're like, yeah, you can have that. And you're just what? And there you go. You have $1 million ring. You're not going to turn that down. I mean, like I said, you could sell it or, whatever. But I will also say about this Dubai princess for French Montana, she is also the one that, I don't know if you remember this, I think this was a few years ago. Can't exactly remember, but I think this was a few years ago when she was dating somebody else. I don't know if they were engaged, but I think they might be. They might have been. Either way, doesn't matter. But this Dubai princess broke up with her significant other on Instagram. She blasted him on everything and was just hey, yeah, we're breaking up. Not going to be together anymore. So all that stuff that we said that we were going to, we're not going to do that. No, we're not. Which, public humiliation might be her kink. I don't know. Seems kind of like it. So French, buddy, well, all I got to say is be careful, homie. Be careful, all right? We want to see you happy. We want to see you living your best life. Love is love. We love love. All that crappy crap. that's going on in the world right now, saying hashtag love, love, and you're just like, okay, well, we can be jealous of love too, and envious, and then hate on people for love. We can do that. I mean, 100%. I mean, when you look at a couple and you're just like, oh, another couple, like, ooh, don't want it around me, and then you move on with your day. We can do that. I mean, it's all that. But French, just be careful, man. She seems like she's a savage, and not like in the bad kind of way, in the more meaning of, oh, she knows what she wants, and if it doesn't go her way, bye-bye now. And then you're going to be publicly humiliated. I cannot talk today. This is so annoying. So annoying. It's like I talk for a living and I get... Come on, porky pig. Anyway, public humiliation is kind of her thing. So, tread lightly, French. And I'm assuming you're seeing some big old dollar signs with the princess. I'm not saying that's the whole thing, but it could be a part. And listen, like, the people we date, there's a reason why we date them, right? So there's some people who are only looking for a relationship on the physical side. Some people who can only date somebody and have relations with somebody if they like the person who it is. Or some people don't want to touch anybody and be like, no, bad. No, I don't want to touch you, which is fine. She seems like savage in a scary and yet awesome kind of way, because I love it. And I think like if you are in that situation where somebody does something to you, you're able to retaliate. I wouldn't say like in like a physical kind of way, but get them back a little bit, get a little punch in, or if it's a breakup, there you go. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little rough. So French Montana, tread lightly, man. And I think I was going to go on a point earlier, and I don't really remember because I said, I don't even remember what I said. See, this is the problem with me. I can't remember what I say. And then I'm like, oh, I need to go back and listen. And it's just like, I'm not going to stop the podcast and listen to myself. Can't do it. But, yeah. I mean, people are all different in relationships. They're so difficult. Oh, I remember my point. Got it. The different people have different things that they're attracted to. Like, everybody has something that they're attracted to. But I said earlier that I'm shallow. You can kind of piece together what, I kind of look for and then want afterwards. Meaning, let me clarify that just to make sure. I see somebody, if I'm attracted to them, I would like to talk to them and then have a conversation and build a relationship that way. That's kind of my deal. And I think most people are like that. I could be wrong, but most people are like that. And then there are some people who, like, it doesn't matter what they look like. I mean, you could be 50 pounds soaking wet, or, you could be 600 pounds. As long as you're a good person, it doesn't really matter. And those people are really cool to talk to because they're genuine people. So I will say, I've known quite a few people like that, and they're pretty awesome. So yeah. And then there's people who, aren't necessarily attracted to anything. Some may call them asexual, but I don't know. It's what we're attracted to. I mean, relationships are so difficult, and trying to find somebody in general now, like, and I had this thought, like with dating apps, right? So we have all these dating apps and the ability to go on and kind of do different things and meet different people. Like, we're meeting new people almost on a daily basis. Almost. There's, sometimes you get cold streaks, but whatever. But you have the ability to meet somebody new or multiple people new every single day. And not everybody is going to have that kind of accessibility. Like, you look back before we had dating apps, smartphones, everything like that. dating, I feel like, was like feast or famine. Like you would have to go out to bars and talk to people, or go out to the grocery store, and if you saw somebody or they saw you, you would go up to them and be like, hey, you got a nice butt, and then move on from there. But now with dating apps, like, well, it's kind of ruined the bar industry a little bit. But also there's so much accessibility, and I feel like a lot more people go on a lot more dates. Like some people could be going on a date every single day of the week. There's some people who have that power. Some people go out every weekend with somebody new. Or two people new. I don't know. But there's so much accessibility to dating now. And I think that kind of tarnishes it and makes it really tough, but also has toughened people up, if that makes sense. So, for example, rejection now is pretty much like there. Like we all have felt rejection in some sense of the word. And even like as an adult rejection, because there's high school rejection, there's X, Y, and Z, college rejection, but there's nothing like getting dumped when you're an adult, and that kind of hardens you and makes you callous to a whole lot of things. I feel like now a lot of people are so calloused by being ghosted, by being dumped, and they go out on all these dates. I mean, some people, they don't go out on dates at all, and they're just like, no, I'm done. And that's fine. You do you, boo-boo. But the type of interactions people have, I feel like it's a lot more calloused. Like, I've been on dating apps before. I've talked to some people, and it's just the conversations are very streamlined. And I know a lot of people are different, and a lot of people are different from me. I'm different from them, and everything like that. But it just seems so cookie cutter, and it's just like, I just want to know the basics. If we meet, it goes off or goes well, then okay, cool, we're there. But it's not, there's no organic nature to it. It feels, I don't know, it's almost like when you do something so repetitively that you're just like, okay, there we go. Now I got the hang of it. It's like, for example, say you're doing math, right? You're an accountant, or you're doing math homework when you were in high school. Eventually, like when you first started doing the word problems or whatever problems, like when you first learned multiplication, it was tough. And for some of us, it still is tough. But over time, it gets easier. And then when somebody says 6 times 5, you're like 30. And then boom, you're moving on. It's kind of like that. That's what it feels like to me. And I don't necessarily know if that's accurate, but it feels calloused. There's no organic nature to it. And I'm a very much flow guy. I'm like, this is going to sound so dumb, and some people are going to be like, dude, that is so cliche, but I'm a vibes guy. Like, I need good vibes. I need to, like, my energy comes from people around me. And if you don't have good energy, if you don't have good vibes, then it's just like, I can't do it. It's not in my nature to force an organic connection that's not going to be there. If it's organic and we flow and it's great, like, and I can yap as people who listen to this podcast, I can yap about literally anything and then move on from another topic, and I can do all that. That's perfectly fine. That's not what I mean. There's an organic feel to when you're talking to somebody, and whether that's a friend, family, whatever, and all of a sudden, if there's like a break in that, or if you're just not vibing on that day, or the conversation, you're just like, man, this is boring. It's kind of like that. But it's so calloused right now, dating. It's rough. And I think that's what people are kind of like getting stuck on right now, is that single people, it's almost like date for a month or 2 or 3 and then break up, date for a month or 2 or 3, break up, date for 6 months, break up, date for a month, date for a month. And it's kind of like that. And it's almost sad how calloused it's gotten, and how people are just like, I don't even care. And it's become like a math problem where it's like 6 times 5, 30. And the only reason I use 30 is because, there's no 31. I guess 31 times 1, well, that's boring and very easy. Anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on dating that you didn't ask for, but I'm gonna give anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's weird, and I don't know the solution to the problem. And it's not like opening up. It's not. And it's not just going back to bars. I don't know what it is that you could find a solution for that could, help remedy the situation, make people less calloused. I don't want to say it is what it is now, but I don't know. I'm not that smart. And as for like a social insight into things, I'm not really sure. All I know is like how I'm going to be, and that's just talking to you. I'm going to yap and I don't really know what I'm going to say to somebody. I'm just going to have a conversation, see where it goes. And that's kind of, my thought. And I don't know if everybody's going to do that. I don't know if everybody can do that. And I don't know if everybody wants to do that. So I don't know that. So I can't really suggest a solution other than to say I think it's calloused. Dating is calloused, and I don't really know how else to do and go about the dating world other than how I do it. And that's not going to work for everybody, so I don't know. Moving on, though, Gordon Ramsay had a little scare, a little skin cancer scare, and it was like right underneath his ear, which is kind of scary. I mean, any cancer is terrifying. I mean, there's somebody close to me that had a scare, and, terrified is the best word that I can describe, because you don't know. Because when you hear cancer, all you hear is sad, depressing things. And yes, you hear some strong people talk about it. Yes, you hear some great heroic nature of beating cancer and everything like that. But it's still cancer, and it's still scary. And Gordon Ramsay apparently had skin cancer, and it was like underneath his ear, and they cut it out. And I swear, the pictures online, I swear, when I first saw that, I was like, did somebody cut Gordon Ramsay's ear off? And then I read more, and I was like, no, he had skin cancer. And I'm like, oh, now I feel like a dick. I'm just like, oh, okay. But it looked like where they cut it, you could literally like pick up his ear and look inside his brain and see all the anger emojis coming out of his brain and be like, oh, see, this is why you're angry. All those emojis in your brain, you got the rage emoji, Gordon. Just let me take a couple of these out. They'll be fine. Great, good. Okay, moving on. Oh, there's the happy smiley face emoji. There we go. We're back. So, but it did kind of look like that, and it just looked like it hurt, to be honest. But Gordon Ramsay, dude's a legend, and just dropping F-bombs left and right. Him and Samuel L. Jackson, just iconic F-bomb droppers. It makes me happy. And there's some people who say like, oh, you shouldn't curse because it sounds unintelligent and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I think intelligence isn't indicative of curse word usage. So we'll move on from that. But anyway, Gordon, I hope you're recovering well. That looked like it really, really hurt. It's very, very painful. Then again, you probably cut yourself so many times with a knife that you're just like, meh. But I really hope it doesn't come back. And I hope you're just a happy, healthy person. That's all I want. Literally it. I just want everybody to be happy and healthy. And I think if we do that, a lot more people are going to be happy. This one real quick. I don't know. Maybe I'm just projecting a little bit here. Maybe I'm in the wrong. But it feels like with like TMZ or any other of the, I don't know, tabloid news, when they really need a story, they go to Abby and Brittany Hensel, and those two are sisters who are conjoined twins. I think that's how you say it, conjoined. So, I mean, for them, I don't know how they feel. And so, like, getting their picture taken at a McDonald's or, with their baby or X, Y, and Z. And yeah, they had a baby. I don't know. It's just, in situations like this, I don't know how to respond. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not going to be like, oh my goodness, Abby and Brittany Hensel. It's just like, okay, they're people, one. And two, I don't want to say they're treating them almost like a carnival act, because that is supremely not nice to say. But it seems like every time TMZ needs a story, they go to them, or a sighting of them, or whatever. And so that makes me feel uneasy. But maybe they love it. Maybe they like it. And then I'm just projecting, and I'm just like, or gaslighting or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we haven't really heard from them, but that's my 2 cents on it. Kind of makes me feel icky. And honestly, they're probably 2 of the nicest people, maybe. They might be very nice people. I don't know. I would love to have a conversation with them, because that would be a lot of fun. Because their lives have got to be fascinating. But anyway, ending the podcast here today. Happier news. And I mean, this is just, breaking the entire internet, the entire world, the entire population of the universe. It is the craziest of crazy things. It is Pete Davidson getting his tattoos removed. No, it's not that. I'm just being an idiot. Which he did have an Instagram picture with his baby mama, Elsie Hewitt, which was adorable. And I love that stuff. I don't know why. It makes me happy. Anyway, no, it was Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged. That literally broke the internet. Like, there were so many times that I saw a trend where people were like, oh, okay, did you hear the news? And somebody's like, no, I didn't hear the news. What news? It's like, you're going to be so mad when I tell you this. And a lot of people were doing that. A lot of people were having conversations about that. And that was the trend for the longest of long times, where people were just like, oh my goodness, it's Taylor and Travis. And I think it's really neat, because honestly, when Taylor was on New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelce, they just seemed like such a normal couple. And I know that's a weird thing to say, because they are just normal people. They just have a little bit more fame, in some case, a lot more fame than, other people. But it's, there's something simple about those two. And simple as in their love for each other. Because you can see it. It's kind of apparent. It's kind of like that. It's like that high school relationship that has still made it. Like those two, you have friends who are from high school and everything like that, and they married their high school sweethearts, and they live, and they've still been together, and they still are together even after high school. They get married, have a bunch of kids, and they keep on going, and they're the happiest couple. It's kind of like that. But they're in their mid to late 30s, I think. No, mid 30s. But there's a sweetness to it. There's a simplicity to it. There's just a niceness to it. And again, it may be cliche to say, but in those circumstances, love that kind of love. And I wish everybody had that kind of love. Some people force relationships. Some people force different things. And when you can make it easy, I feel like that's the best. Now, have I ever had that? No. Because if I did, I'd probably still be in that relationship. I'd probably still be in Ohio. No, maybe not. I am kind of selfish. Anyway. But it's, when I saw that podcast and I watched the entire thing, it's just how two people look at each other. You can pick up on it pretty quick. There's like a glint in the eyes. There's a certain kind of softness that people have. And then also, when you can come back with a joke, come back and make fun of one person and then the other person. And just the genuine excitement to have somebody be around you while you're doing your thing. And it's such a beautiful moment. So in that case, I absolutely love. And I love how they are now moving on and moving forward with their relationship together. And it just makes me happy. Though, if I was Ed, Travis's dad, I'd probably keep my mouth shut, because Ed was on a Cleveland, Ohio like news program and said, "Oh yeah, they've been together for or they've been engaged for 2 weeks." If I was Travis, I'd be like, "Dad, shut up. It's nobody's business. You can keep it an illusion. All right, we're going to make this an illusion. People are going to assume that we just got engaged. We're not talking about this, or if we are, we're going to do it. So shut up, and if you're going to talk about something, talk about my new American Eagle line," which Travis has. Yet, if you want to be cynical, just so happened to be the same week that his engagement was announced. So, yeah, just going to leave that one right there. But anyway, congratulations to Taylor and Travis. Really, honestly, everybody across the world was just like, "Oh my goodness, yes!" Literally. And it doesn't matter what kind of person, who you are, the type of person you are, everybody was just like, holy cow. So, that's how you know you have influence. And on that note, I am going to get out of here. Thank you so much for listening in to the Seth Justice Show, my glorified therapy session that makes me feel like a normal human being. Really do appreciate that. Anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow Instagram at Justice_Radio, at Seth Justice Show on X, also the Seth Justice Show on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk again next week. Have a happy Labor Day. Have a happy week. And I think I'm done. So, bye-bye.